purpose of your coming here. But before we start, the 1919 Constitution empowers the committee and any other committee of the National Assembly in terms of what they do and how they enforce their activities. And I will give you referral emphasis to a particular section of the Constitution, that's section 109 and 110 respectively. But to be precise, section 109, subsection 2, and I quote, for the purpose of effectively performing its functions, each of the committees shall have all the powers, rights, and privileges as are invested in a high court at a trial in respect of enforcing the attendance of witnesses and examining them on oath, affirmation, or otherwise, and B, compelling the production of documents. However, section 110 further indicated that any witness or any individual, to give you a summary, that who by any action impedes a committee or the whole committee or a member of the National Assembly in the execution of his or her function commits an offense by way of contempt of the National Assembly. And if the person is found wanting, actually, the law will take its course in terms of admonition and finally, before, as a result of section 109, subsection 2, we want to ask you to affirm so that we can proceed. And that course, I would like to invite our support staff to administer the affirmation. Mr. Diba.
I, Omar Darboe,
you may take a seat. Thank you very much, Commissioner Darboe. Thank you. All right. If you do us a favor, I know some Jolas, when they're hungry, they cannot hear properly. So, and the building at one point in time was very unfriendly, so we need to speak a little bit loud to be very audible. That we would like to beg. And so our line of operation is that we have a sort of question that we want to ask. So just relax and answer them to the best of your opportunity. When you feel that there is an information that is not readily available with you, you can just take time at your own free pace to provide that information or document. And as a reminder, any individual or institutions that are adversely mentioned in the petitions, we take this opportunity to examine that. So not actually. It's you are the first person. This was a continuation, and not necessarily anybody who's mentioned in the petition, but any other institution or individual whom the committee think that will be in a position to give us relevant information. We will also go out to examine or investigate or talk to those individuals for further information. So, without taking much time, I think I would now like to ask the Honourable Deputy of the Clerk, who will start the conversation by coming up with the first question. Honourable Vice Chair.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Darboe. You're welcome. First, I'll start by asking you for the record, to state your names and your educational background.
My name is Omar Darboe, and my background is and I joined the Gambia Police Force, and I did some trainings in Turkey, and finally I have a diploma in peace and conflict studies.
Thank you. I was expecting a chronological layout of your educational history from your primary school education.
Yes, I started from from Union Primary School. And I went to St. Peter's. And after St. Peter's, I went to the college. And from the college, I went to MDI.
Thank you very much, Mr. Darboe. Again, can you give us an insight into your employment history, your work history?
I think I have been at the police for about 18 years, 19 years.
So 2003 now?
Yeah, something like that.
Right, so again, can you give us a step-by-step, development of your career in the police from 2003 now, if you can remember, with specific dates, if you can remember?
Okay. I might not be able to remember everything, but nonetheless, I'll try. I started in 1990, not 2003, but 1993. 1993.
Okay.
Just reach your voice.
1993. Yeah, started in 1993 with the training, and I finished. Then after finishing, I worked with the Gambia Police Force at the Fraud and Commercial Unit under the CID. And after some time, I was a cadet officer. And after some time, I was 93, 94. I was in Turkey on training. So I was back in sometime 96, 97. I worked with the PIU. So for about two years or so, then I was deployed again to Kairaba Police Station as a station officer, and Serakunda Police Station as station officer. And I was later promoted to ASP. Then I went back to the PIU, and I was commander for PIU. In 2003, I left for a mission to Liberia. 2003, 2004, I was in Liberia. And I came back at the end of 2005, and I went back to the PIU. But before the end of 2005-06, I was recalled back to Liberia. I went back to 2006, I went back to Liberia again for another 2 years. Then I came back again after the 2 years. And after that I was promoted to a superintendent. So I was working like that, and I went from PIU again. I was sent to Kairaba Station as Deputy Police Commissioner. From there, I was sent to the last elections. That found me in Basay. So I spent 1 year in Basay during the crisis time. Then after
You mean
that,
the impasse?
the impasse time, yeah, I was there. So I spent 1 year there, and I came back again. When I came back, I went to the PIU. And after that again, I went back after 1 or 2 years, I went back to Basay again for another year, 1 year. Then when I came back this time from Basay, I was posted to the conference hall, Sadawala Kairaba Conference Hall, the OIC. And from the OIC, I was posted to Joint Operations Center again. And from the Joint Operations Center, I'm currently posted deployed to Kairaba as the Commissioner Carnifing.
Thank you. So you spent a good part of 28 years serving as a police officer.
Yes.
Yes, and your first deployment as the station officer at Kairaba Police Station, when was this?
I couldn't actually capture the time.
But can you give us a rough idea of around what time is this? After your return from Liberia and all that?
Because I came back first from Liberia. This was 2004. Yeah, I think it is in between 2004 and 5.
2004, 2005.
Yeah.
So it's fair
But
to say
also before, sometime after 2006, when I came, I forgot to mention two things. I'm sorry. Sometime after 2005, when I came from Liberia, I was commander for TSU for another 1-2 years.
What is that?
Huh?
TSU.
Tourism Security Unit. Yeah, and for another 1-2 years, and I left from there. Also, I went to Darfur, and from Darfur I came back.
Thank you. A good wealth of experience now in the police,
Yes.
especially in command positions.
Yes.
Since 2004, when you were a station officer at Kaiwa,
Yeah.
you man command positions. Until now, you are man commander. So it's quite a resume as far as your time in service, and experience in service is concerned. Now, to narrow it down to your time you spent at Basel, within which times did you serve as the Commissioner of Police in Basel?
I think this document before you is talking about 2020. That's the.
No, I'm asking you a question, So you tell me, what you know.
Yeah, because the fact I want to just put it together is because I think this was in 2020. That was my second time in Basel. The first time was during crisis.
Impasse.
Yeah,
in
that's
2016.
the impasse. Yeah,
Of
the impasse of 2016.
Right.
But the second time I went to Basel was 2020.
In a different
After-
capacity?
Yeah, in
Different
the,
capacity. Your first, you were a commissioner or deputy commissioner? of
no,
the region?
I was commissioner when I went there.
The first time?
Yes, the first time.
Okay.
And the second time also I was
You
commissioner.
were a commissioner?
Yeah.
Would you like to say, okay, in total you spent roughly 2 years there?
Roughly
but-
2 years.
But not concurrently?
Not concurrent.
Right.
There was a
The
break.
first was in 2016.
Yeah.
After spending briefly 1 year there,
Yeah.
you came back to
Yes.
And the last time you went back to Basel was in
2020.
2020.
was in 2020. So you also spent 1 year there.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. The second one is, I think, if I can recall, it's exactly 1 year, but the first one was 9-10 months. And so that's the span, anyway.
Thank you very much.
So,
Yeah,
Supplementary. Thank you very much. On the time you spent at Basel, we need to be specifics. Like your first posting, when were you there? In the capacity of commissioner until when? And you were recalled back here. And your second time there, when did you went there? Until at what time? That will definitely help us.
the dates, as I said, I might.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. But I can. After this, I can search into my line and provide you with the dates. The exact dates, which time to which time.
So let's
Go ahead. Yeah.
Right, thank you. So, as a police commissioner, what are your core responsibilities?
My core responsibilities are to ensure
Your responsibility as a police commissioner of the region.
is to ensure that there is peace and stability in the region, and to search for the criminals, prosecute them, take them to court. Basically.
Okay. And what was your AOR, area of responsibility within that region?
That was in there's a URR, that's Basel, the whole of Basel and the surrounding, as a region.
So the whole of URR,
Yeah,
both sides of the river.
yeah, both sides of the
And how many police stations now were there at the time?
At the time, if I remember, at
You can name them.
most we would have we have Sarangai, and then we have Pasay itself. We have Fatoto, that's 3 here, and we have on the road from Diabu 4. Thank you for reminding me. Bakadaji 5, and Basically.
So if you can remember, just
Basically, yeah. Basically, yeah.
Okay,
that's fine.
Yeah, just to take you back a little bit, no, you did mention that no, you did serve as a police commissioner in Basay in the year 2016 during the impasse, but also in 2020.
Yeah.
However, we have information that 2019 you were there. Can you confirm or otherwise?
2019.
Yes, 2019. Towards the end of 2019.
Yes, this should be 2019, 2020.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. So again, during this time, what were the most prevalent, crimes that you registered under your tenure?
In Basay at that point, it was most times about theft, stealing, and this stealing obviously includes sometimes animal stealing and things like that. Rustling of animals.
Animal theft.
Animal theft, yeah.
Any other crime?
Yeah, the others are common assault, causing actual bodily harm, things like that. When people have problems, they fight, and that's all.
Okay. So, thank you for mentioning the issue of animal theft. Can you inform this committee now how many cases, if you can remember on top of your head, that of animal theft that you have registered in those combination of 2 years that we spent in Basay? Roughly.
I might not be able to give an estimate of how many matters, because since I left it's been some time and I have not consulted records to be very exact. This is the problem. But I know when I was serving there, these were crimes that were happening. People stealing ruminants and things like that. Those were going on.
Would you say there are more than 10, 20, at least during that course of that time, or the amount of reoccurrences of such deaths?
Yeah, it could be up to those 10 or so, because most of the people who live around that area, most of them are farmers and they have ruminants, and sometimes theft will take place with those kind of things.
So
but it is not like it is on a kind of a wider scale or something like that. No.
Commissioner,
Yes, sir.
unfortunately, you could not give us the exact numbers. Maybe it's difficult to say roughly how much. But would you like to admit that the issue of animal theft was a great issue in that area, but at the time you're posting them? Would you like to admit that?
No, because it was happening. It was not. It was only when I was there. Then I was called to the headquarters and we had a discussion that the Woli people are complaining of continuous animal theft. But this was not in my time. Animal theft was going on, but it was not as serious as you may think of. But I had a complaint that Woli are complaining of animal theft for a vast time of years when I was not there.
So during your stay in Basay, have you had any opportunity to meet with an association, Woli is Animal Protection Association? Have you had any opportunity to discuss the issue of animal theft in that area during your office?
The first time I met Woli East Association concerning this was I was in Basay and I was called by my senior operations officer that I should come and report. So I came back. No, when I came to his office, I found a lot of people, elders and things like that. And I think this was virtually when I was there, maybe 2-3 months, something like that. That was not even to my knowledge that it was happening. So. But when they called, they all assembled in there. When I came, I found them there at the office of the operations, Landing Boja. And he said to them, this is the commissioner now of Basay. So I said, yeah, I'm here. So he said, these are the people from Woolley, and they are complaining about animal theft that has been going on, not during their time now, but it has been going on for a long time, and I think it still continues. I said, okay, I will try to see what we can do with this situation. That was the first time, Honorable, I met with them.
During that meeting, Commissioner, did a name or some names of persons who've been great nuisance to the community of Woolies been mentioned to you?
Oh yes, during this meeting, I was in a name of only one person who was mentioned to me, and this is called Amadou Gajiko or Gajaga, something. That was the name that was mentioned to me by them.
Besides that, the meeting made mention of an officer within the police stations you've mentioned, who also was not the least cooperative with the community in terms of combating animal theft.
Besides that, if I can fully remember, they mentioned one officer, a CID officer, if I remember, that they said they were not very much happy with him in the area, So.
Would you like to? Can you recall his name or precisely which police station? Would you know?
I think this officer works at what's this? Sarangai.
Sarangai.
Yeah. He was a CID officer. Might not be very sure, but I think the last name is Jawara or something like that. Jawara.
If I remind you the name of the person who a lot of people have been complaining to us against his non-cooperation with the community.
Sure.
Would you recall?
Sure, I would recall.
Alkali Mandafa.
Yes, Mandafa.
CID?
Mandafa, CID.
Yes, CID.
Mandafa.
Would you recall?
Yes, it's Mandafa.
Well,
yeah.
Is the person
yes,
have
Mandafa.
been
That I had that they were not in terms with Mandafa as a police officer because they thought he was not cooperating with them. That's what I had at the meeting, Mandafa.
As a commissioner,
yes.
You've told us what your mandate is.
Yeah.
Would that include supervision of all the police stations or security apparatus in your area?
For sure.
That was part of it.
Yes.
When you had that complaint, what role did you play? Because it was a cause of concern for the community, and you told us that part of your job is to protect lives and properties and to maintain peace in the area. And constant theft of properties of individuals tantamount to great threat to their livelihood and their peace.
Mm-hmm.
What did you do upon receipt of that information?
From the meeting, I assured them that I'm going to go back and ensure that I do what is necessary as per the law. And they had the assurance, and I went back. I started to work on what they have said. That is what is happening over there. And I called Mandafa in myself. I asked Mandafa about what has been going on. And he gave me his version of what was going on. And I said, I gave him an advice that he is a police officer. He has to ensure that whatever happens, that whatever he's doing is backed by the law. And apart from that, he cannot do anything.
Would you be surprised to know that the said Amadou Alkali Mandafa is still at that police station? Would you be surprised for you to learn about that?
For me to know that he's still
there?
No, I'll not be surprised.
Why?
Why? He is posted as any other police officer. So this is not I am posted there and I went there. And if the command feels that he should be out of that place, they will move him and put him somewhere else. So I am not be surprised if he is still there.
Besides Alkali Mandafa, have you heard of any complaint against any officer by the same people?
Against any other officer, not Mandafa.
Relative to their reluctance to cooperate with them in the fight against animal theft?
This day they said, in fact, it's not only Mandafa. What I can understand from them is the whole police setup that they are saying are kind of not helping them in the fight against this thing, the stealing of their ruminants and things like that. This is what they are saying. Point has been finger has been pointed to Mandafa as an individual.
Thank you. I just want to add that whether you have done any effort to inform the command of this complaint against Mandafa, that he has not been cooperative in investigating cases of animal theft in the area.
This was said to the command in my presence. When the command was seated, I was also there. It was said in the meeting that the Woodley people came to the command. So there was no need for me to inform the command about it. It was said in their presence.
Who is that command? Who is the individual?
This meeting was called at the Commissioner of Operations Office in Banjul here. That is the first day I learned about this thing and I know about this.
Yes, so you have indicated in your response that yes, if this case incidents could go up to about 20 or so, because you cannot remember that exactly. However, my question is in that time that you had about 20 cases, how many of these were prosecuted?
I think you did ask me if they have gone up to a tune of 10. I said, yeah, could be up to a tune of 10. I never mentioned 20.
Okay, so
10,
so
10,
let's say it's 10
but,
now. How
yeah,
many of them
but
were?
as I said, I will not be able to tell you now how many of these were prosecuted, but I know that cases of that kind of a nature have been taken to court.
You have a question?
Yes. I'm going by your TOR, what you told us your job is.
Yes, sir.
This is a problem of animal theft, which you've admitted that
Yes.
it was there before you, and even during your time, according to your words, it was there, although according to the it was limited.
Yes.
Yeah. Would you like to inform this committee if a crime has been committed and been prosecuted? Is your office not in a position actually to be given a feedback with regards to what obtains as a result of your TOR?
To give a feedback to.
You are the commissioner overall boss.
Yes.
Yeah. If your men under you did certain functions, how do you get to know about it? Is there any line of communication with you to give you a feedback so that you can assess the progress you make?
The feedback, if I understand what you say, matter goes to court and the returns of prosecution, then you can send the returns of the matters that have been prosecuted, the matters that have not been prosecuted, and that are pending to come. But on the other side, you're talking about.
That's exactly what I'm asking. You are telling us that you do have a feedback.
Yeah.
You do have a feedback.
Yeah.
So can you recall problems of crimes committed towards animal theft that have been prosecuted, that have been brought to the attention of your office, and that were prosecuted? Can you recall anyone?
Any of the matters that have been prosecuted?
Yes.
In
relation to animal theft?
Yes, there should be matters that have been prosecuted in court. As at the moment, I can't remember. No, I can't remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Let me also add that whether you have ever conducted any internal inquiry
Yes.
relating to the complaint
Yes.
against police inaction in Woodley East against animal theft. or in relation to animal theft?
Police in action in relation to animal
The
theft.
complaint is that the police are not cooperating with them. That's what you said. That is their complaint.
That is what they say.
Especially, that's what they said to you.
Yeah, that's
I'm
what
saying
they
whether
say.
you have conducted any internal inquiry, especially relating to Mandafa
Yes,
not cooperating with them.
yes, I did say before that I called Mandafa with what they are saying, but there is nothing to substantiate that.
No, apart
as
from,
far as Mandafa
apart from you
is
meeting
concerned.
Mandafa alone,
And I admonish him.
any other
that
internal investigation?
apart from that, when I left the first time I left from this meeting with the Commissioner of Operations, when I went back, I went into the matter. I checked it over myself. Then I asked my CID, the chief of the CID, I told them, get yourselves a panel and do the investigation on this, the complaint that comes from Woolly, as far as cattle theft or rustling is concerned. And they did an investigation. They provided me with a report, and I sent the report to the headquarters, and they have it. So that is what I did, and I think it's within my purview to do that one. And the report is about this report. I want it to be clear, so that you are clear of what you're looking for. That during my time there was no such things as such. But they have a complaint that it was even before my time. A lot of times their cattle have been going and all that. So I asked the guys to make the investigation, the time span, to backdate it so that they can go into it. And they did it. It covered some time well before the time I was there, up to the time, and they presented a report about it, and that I gave to the headquarters.
It's with the headquarters.
Yes, there is a report about it, and I think I also have a copy of that report.
Can you help this committee with the report, a copy of the report?
Sure. I'll search my documents and I'll provide it for you.
Thank you, Mr. Darboe. In your line of answering, you keep mentioning the command. Just for the sake of clarity, is the Commissioner of Police in Basel not the head of the region as far as police operations is concerned?
Yes.
So you are the top commander?
Yes, I am the
command.
command.
The top official?
In Basel I am the command. But
so in as much as you take command now from head office, what happens in Basel now is under your purview?
Yes.
And the effectiveness of police service now in the region, you take the crown lies on your head. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
So again, the people of Wunde have raised concerns about animal theft in their area for a span of maybe 10 years, even before you came into the picture. However, they expected you to take actions and measures in capping them and name you names of people within your service or within your department that they think are more of a problem to their issues than solution to the issues. So are you telling this committee that you have no powers to recommend to your high command the removal of such persons from the communities? Is that what you're telling me?
No. That's not what I'm saying, because I have powers to move one person from one place to the other. Yes.
So, as far as this committee is concerned.
But I don't do that, to be clear, I don't do that if a complaint is against somebody and it's not justified. I don't do it. But whatever I do, I must do it in line with, even my responsibility goes in line with the law. So I don't do that. You tell me something about one of my staff and I move him. No, I don't do it. I have to check and see, is this true what has happened, or is it not? It is not. If it is not justified, I don't do it.
So again, thank you very much. That's clearly understood. Yeah. However, this Mr. Mandafa, Alkali Mandafa, has been adversely mentioned not only in the petition, but even during our investigations. chiefs, alcalos, community leaders, herdsmen have all complained that every time they lodge complaint at the police hierarchy about this charge of being ineffective in his investigations to curb the reoccurrences of such incidences, no action was taken. So you still don't, in your opinion, there's still not a problem there?
The fact of the matter is, that is what they believe. But the police believe that Manapa is a very good CI officer. He goes in and out, and he knows what he's doing. So if the public says he is not doing that, and we have not seen the justifications that what they are saying is Manapa is doing it. It's like if you say that somebody is a thief, I mean, I'm a police officer. You have to prove. Yeah, beyond reasonable doubts that somebody is a thief.
So if I understand, even though other police officers feel the same way like the community members, as long as you don't have substantial evidence to back such claim, you will not take action.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know that this Mr. Mandava is a friend to Amadou Gadigo?
Yeah, the police are friends to everybody.
No, not like that. We are friends.
Yes.
To everybody.
The police are
friends
and
to
we
everybody.
solicit from them.
I'm talking about a mutual relationship.
Mutual relationship, like
people who go to each other's house. That's different from me and you. I've never met you, but we are friends. I believe.
Yeah.
But this I'm talking about specific relationship, like mutual relationship. Do you know that?
No, I don't know. It could happen, but I don't know about that.
Do you know that Mr. Gajibo have told this committee that he would occasionally kill or slaughter animals and would not take a portion of from Mr. Mandapa?
Would take a portion for Mr. Mandapa? That's not to my knowledge.
That's not your knowledge?
No, I don't know.
Okay. You also know that Mandapa has confirmed to this committee that he has occasionally been to Mr. Gajibo's house, sometimes on a social activity.
No, I don't know that.
Okay. During the course of your time in Basay, you have had interactions with the association, Animal Protection Association.
Yes.
You have had the opportunity to also talk to other stakeholders, like personnel from Gilma, Gambia Livestock Marketing Agency. Is that true?
Yes.
Do you recall any specific name or conversation you had with the representative from Gilma?
When the case was on, I because it is in Basse, I am the police commissioner, I make sure that everything about whatever they have said, I will ask my CID, or I will call my senior people. We go together to find out so that we can have it recorded, we can have it on paper. Because that's maybe sometimes they might go and bring me something that it would not be true, but I ensure that I go with them so that what is being said is in my presence. And sometimes all these things I organize it myself, get them and say, let us go there. I went to Gilma, in a nutshell. I went to Gilma, I spoke with them. This was in relation to Amadou Gajigo's permit, because a lot of things erupt. And the governor at one point in time wanted me to do something that I said I'm not doing it because it's not lawful, and I don't do that because if I do it, you ask, I do it, and my boss will call me, why do you do this? And that is, I will not do that. So that prompted me to go to Gilma and ask, because it was a kind of confusion regarding a permit that was given to Amadou, to operate.
Thank you.
So,
what did the governor ask you to do? He said not to do it. What did he ask you? What did he or she ask you not to do?
No, the governor at the point in time, said to me, hey, Commissioner, these people are farmers, and they are losing their ruminants and things like that. So I think it's better for you to stop this Amadou from selling from dealing in these cattle and say. So I said to her, I said, Madam Governor, I don't have those powers. I cannot do it. I have not given Amadou a license to operate. The people who have given Amadou the license, they are the people that are responsible to give him a license, and they should revoke it. It's not me. I'm not doing it.
Have Dilma, during your introduction, inform you as the police commissioner that they have revoked the license of Amadou Gadibo?
Who revoked the license? Sorry.
Dilma.
Dilma.
Yes.
No. When I went to Dilma, there was a confusion in Dilma itself. Who gave license? And I tried to find out who gave license. And it was at the end that they know one of their guys working. In fact, if I can fully remember, this guy who gave a license is not the guy who is at Amadou's area to be able to give a license. He's another one from another area, if I can fully recapitulate, who gave him a license.
Okay. However, on the 28th of April 2020, when you were serving as the police commissioner in Basel, a letter was copied to you, addressed to Amadou Gadibo, cancelling his license to trade in livestock by Gilman. How have you received this letter? Because you are copied here. The governor is copied, police commissioner Yura, regional president and staff at Yura, chairman, board of directors Gilman, district chief with the East, and all Juma field staff and fire. Have you any recollection of receiving this communication?
Maybe if I can look at this thing, I'll be able to know if the letter was given to me, then I can understand. I cannot remember this letter. I cannot remember having seen it. And I want to assume that maybe it's, if possible, it's a time that I have left. This was 20th April, yeah.
So were you there or were you not there?
No, I think this date I was not there. But that also, I'll provide you with something to say.
Yes, it would be important to provide us with that information.
Yes, I'll provide you because I
2020
cannot.
was just last year. I'm pretty sure now, Mr. Darboe, with all your maybe poor memory, you should be able to recall when you left Pasay.
Yeah,
and transferred over to your new position.
Yeah, that's this is true, but I wrote it somewhere. It's in my records. So give me time. If I go and you want me to put those things, I'll put them together and bring it for you. I write it down. This is time I left.
House. 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, a week today.
Today is Wednesday, right? Thursday. Give me Monday. I'll search my. I have a file out. I have my own file at home.
At your
Whatever I do is
convenience.
there. I'll pick them up and.
Yes. So you cannot remember seeing this letter. You have interacted now with Gilma on these issues now in Woodley. How familiar are you with the Gilma Act?
The Gilma Act.
Yes, that's the Livestock Material Agency Act, 2008.
Yeah. I know that they are the guys responsible for their acts, giving them powers to take care of the ruminants and things like that. So whatever I do, I'm a police officer. I'm supposed to enforce all kind of acts and the law. So whatever I do it in consultation with them, and that is why I went to them to ask if they have given this license, Amadou, because this was a bone of contention, and Amadou has no license. He is not supposed to operate. And the fact that this was a bone of contention, and Amadou showed that he had a license, I told them, this guy is saying that he has a license. So if he has a license, I'm not the authority to withdraw the license. The authority is the guys who gave him. So let's consult them, and eventually they said, yes, they have given a license to Amadou. Or we asked, yes, you are the guys who should report. Yes.
Apart from the Constitution, we, the National Assembly, enact laws into acts.
Yeah.
and Gilmer Act was enacted in 2008,
Mm-hmm.
giving them the sole mandate to regulate the industry regarding livestock.
Yes.
Even us as National Assembly members don't have power, nor does Gilmer have power to implement those laws, but it's the police.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, they are the custodian of the law, but they have no enforcement powers, nor does the National Assembly has, or the judiciary. It is the executive of which you belong. So the police are the enforcers of laws.
Mm-hmm.
So if you say to us that in your opinion you have no powers to execute or to implement laws, that is a bit of a concern as far as we are concerned. You understand where I'm coming from?
Mm-hmm.
What do you have to say to that?
Maybe you are understanding it on the other side of the coin, but what I said, it is very clear. That is why I said the laws that the National Assembly made and the ones that are all in the Constitution and the other acts that are different institutions have different acts. We are there to enforce that. I'm in line with you. We're there to enforce that because that's the duty of the police. By virtue of that, with the license has been given, if there is a bone of contention with somebody has a license, because I don't, the police does not give license.
No, I don't. You have no powers to give license.
Okay.
Nor does the National Assembly have. Nor does even the Ministry of Local Government has, or the Ministry of Agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
It's just Gilmer. They are the only entity that has the power to give license
And to revoke
renew it or cancel it.
Yeah.
So when they do, like for example, I'll give you another narrative. We all know there's an act of parliament that bans public smoking.
Yeah.
Who is the custodian of that act is the Ministry of Health.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to go and inform you, to say that you have to arrest people on the streets or in public places
Mm-hmm.
when they are found smoking in public. You know the law, you enact it, you implement it.
We enforce it.
But Gilmer, you enforce it. But
Yeah.
Gilmer took it upon themselves
Mm-hmm.
to engage you
Mm-hmm.
as the commanding officer of the region to say we have acted such. I think they went a step further to inform you as the law enforcer that this law, this power that we are entrusted with, we have acted upon it now. So the rest is for you to finish.
If I have seen that letter, I guess it's a letter you're still talking about. If I see that letter at the point of time I was there, I simply would have. It would not take me a second to say, this Amadou, this must not happen, because I don't owe it to anybody. I owe it to God and my thing, not because of a human being. No, that's totally out of it. I do my job without fear or favor.
So to rest my case, we just want to
that is it. But I, if you want me to say, or you have other questions, then I will listen.
Mr. Darboe.
Yes, I know.
What did the governor actually tell you? Did the governor tell you to disallow Amadou from operations, or did the governor tell you to enforce the Gilmer Act?
No, he didn't.
Because for him to just come and call you and say stop Gajigo from operating will be very abnormal. It must be based on something. What was it based on?
She said that there are a lot of complaints against Gajigo. So I should ensure that Gajigo does not continue dealing in selling and buying cattle.
But she did not say because Gajigo's license is revoked.
No, she does not even know about Gilmer. I told her, Ma, this the police don't give license to. The ones who give license are Gilmer. So if you want Amadou not to operate in this thing at all, Dilma should be in the position to revoke his license. And if the license are revoked, anytime he's in this thing, we will get him arrested.
Yeah, but do you know Mr. Bakari Kwara? Does that name click?
It clicks. I think maybe I met Bakari once or twice, something like that.
Did Bakari not inform you that they have revoked the license of Amadou Kati
Bakari,
from
I think.
operating as a dealer or a butcher?
No, when I visited Bakari together with my team, that's the time they were saying they don't know who gave Amadou a license. But I did say to them, this is license. And they started asking each other, who gave the Amadou this license. It was after that that they started to stop because they realized that one of their people gave license to Amadou. You know, you may be sitting here, but some of the
I'm
things.
saying they revoked the license of Amadou, and then Amadou went around and seek for license in a dubious way and get a license. And that's the time when you came in, and then they revoked that license as well. But even after that, Amadou continued to operate, and that's the complaint. Amadou even
No,
after
when we contact that they don't know who has given the Amadou this license. That's what they told us, that they don't know who has given Amadou. So I said, find out. If you know who has given Amadou, revoke the license. And if you revoke license, you ask a question.
No, you don't. I just want to give you a chance. If it's done, you are good to go ahead.
If you revoke a license, and we will now get Amadou arrested. But before a license is being revoked, an instance happened. That was it was a day that I think Amadou, not Amadou himself, but the chief of the area called me and said, you know, the governor has said that Amadou must not deal in cattle livestock. I said, Chief, yes, I understand. She said that to me. I said, but I told the governor that she must ensure that the license are revoked, because I think Amadou has a license to operate. So, and we did not give the license. Let them ensure that the license is revoked, then we will conduct an arrest on Amadou. But if that is not done, and he has a valid license, who are we as a police? And if we do that, we will be checked. You know, so this will not be possible. Yeah, the fact that he has a valid license, and we must leave him to operate because he has a valid license. He said to me, no, yeah, on phone, do what the governor has asked. I said, I'm a police officer. I don't do what people say like that. I want to be backed by the law. I don't do it. He said, okay, I have my my gun loaded, and you know, I am following not Amadou, but I'm following the guy who is taking the thing. He said, if I find Amadou or anybody who is taking this cattle to Basse, they are on the other side and they are preparing to cross. If I find anybody taking it, in fact, if I Commissioner, if I find Amadou there, I will shoot him and I will kill him. So I said, Chief, you need to be a little bit mindful, because if you shoot anybody, then it is not about cattle crossing. It's a different crime. And if you do that, I'm sorry, we will arrest you for murder, and you might go to jail. And he said, that's it. I said, yes, that's the bottom line. So
that's our our local talk.
And
but I'm saying that even after that discussion, Quorum must have seen you and told you that they have revoked the second license of Amadou. And even after telling you people that the second license is revoked, there is still no action against Amadou.
No, the action that if that had happened, and you expect to see our action, that the license has been revoked, yes, then we would have stopped Amadou from dealing in cattle, selling and buying, you know. But apart from that, and I cannot remember, I don't think, as I said this letter, I have to, because I want to think that I left Basse before the 20th of, is it April? Something like that. Yeah, that I have, you know. But I'm saying, even if that had happened in my presence, Amadou would not be dealing, knowing well that they have revoked Amadou's, because that is what I asked them to do. So knowing fully well that I will not allow them, Amadou, to trade in livestock, because it's my responsibility. And above all, if you trading in livestock is one part of the thing, yeah. But the other part of the thing is, if you say somebody, yeah, that one also is there, and all these things are linked to Gilma operating a butchery, you know. So that one also is there. Maybe the trade license that he has one for that and one for operating a butchery. But apart from that, I'm talking about the side of crime. That he is the guy, they lay a complaint that he is the guy stealing their animal and all whatnot. They told me a lot of things which was not during my time, you know. And I did say to them that other things you mentioned are quite circumstantial. Why couldn't you have gone to the court? But you said Amadou told you that he has seen. If you give me money, I'll show you where your cattle are. I said it's circumstantial. So why do you leave the matter? And this was a person in the committee said, I just wanted my animals. So is this the responsibility of the police or not? Now I told them on several cases also. Now, you know, you always say that Amadou steals your cattle, steal your cattle. I said we are here for every individual who is a Gambian, regardless of,
Even for non-Gambians.
yeah, even for non-Gambians. And we are, whatever we do, we are, and so that it is backed by the law. Yeah, but what you are saying, and you cannot substantiate it, and you don't, and there is no one a time, there is no one a time that you have caught Amadou stealing, and you brought him to the police, and he is being, he's been released. No, this has never happened.
Yeah, the commander has not remembered the cases of animal theft that was brought to his notice. But before you left there were 3 cases against Amadou.
Mm-hmm.
One of which is stealing 3 sheep from Gunjur and slaughtering them in his compound and throwing the carcass eventually at his backyard.
Mm-hmm.
And the people who own those sheep at Gunjur followed him, saw him coming out of the compound,
Mm-hmm.
with his people coming out of the compound and throwing the carcass outside,
Mm-hmm.
and the chariot or the horse cart coming back to the compound again.
Yes.
So at least, and this is reported to the police, and the police came there. Instead of taking the carcass, they leave the carcass. They took the carcass, in fact. And even Amadou was arrested at that time. But the problem there is that no further investigation was done. Thorough investigation was done to prosecute that case. That is one case you must have remembered.
I remember that case.
You remember that very well?
Allow me to comment.
I remember that case pretty well. But I tell them, you said you have Amadou and some other people went to throw the carcass, as you have already said, and you saw them throwing the carcass, and you could have simply, when they were throwing this carcass, you were there, you could have simply gotten those people and informed the police about it. And wait, I'm coming. And also to say there is no investigation in that matter does not go well, because the case was investigated.
Let him ask, okay.
No, but
No, Jawad, sorry.
Okay.
My apology, Honorable, yes, you are far away from me this one.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and Honorable Commissioner Darboe, thank you very much for honoring the invitation. It is rather unfortunate that I didn't attend the public hearing, so I cannot have a background on it to ask some of the questions. But let me just start with you, Honorable Darboe. During your tenure at Woolley, is Amadou the only butcher in the area?
No.
He's the only one.
No, he was not the only butcher.
Okay. I want to know what is so specific about him. Why the entire community is complaining about Ahmad. The entire region.
Oh, all I know is there are people, there are butchers like Ahmad. There are people also who are dealing in cattle like Ahmad. But to give substance to your question, I heard from people of our Wuli Association in the meeting that Amadou, the person said like this: I bungo min law, min be banjul je ka bunsi fa law. That's what I hear from them. I guess you understand what I'm saying. Amadou built a house in where that remote area, just like those who are living in Banjul, the houses that they built in Banjul. So I was amazed to this one. I said, oh, so people in areas like that don't or should not build houses like this. Is this the case? But this has nothing to do with the crime. I just want to say that is what I thought that was said at the point in time.
If I understand, sorry, I'm
So
sorry, I got you already. Go ahead, go ahead.
That is one part of what can answer that your question.
If I get you right, through your observation, you think that maybe the people might have a jealous mind about Amadou or whatsoever.
If they tell you anything like that, you would have a second thought and you would think so. Because I'm a police officer, and that's all right.
Going by the answer you provided to the committee, during your interaction with the Gilma, the association, you make mention that, or you notice that the lancing that Amadou acquired was done illegally because they were complaining that who gave it to him. As a police officer, do you take any step to revoke the lancing or to make any inquiry or to make any recommendation that Amadou lancings need to be revoked because he didn't acquire it legally? Because when you are interacting with them, you understand fully that the way Amadou got the lancing is illegal.
The thing, the good answer for that one is that in the Gilma setup itself, maybe what I have seen is they're kind of separated as Amadou's case is concerned. So some are quite supporting him, some are not supporting. But I did told them that you have the responsibility. The authority is vested in you to give the license, and the authority is vested in you to revoke the license. So that is why they were asking each other who has given license. But how does Amadou have a license? It's one of them who has given it to Amadou.
So it doesn't fall under your mandate?
Not at all.
Yeah, let me learn. It doesn't fall under your mandate if you know that somebody acquired this illegally and the civilians cannot do it. As a police commissioner, it doesn't fall under your mandate to make a recommendation or to revoke his license.
Yes, I did say to Gilma that we are investigating about this, how the Amadou got the license. So it is your duty to, I did recommend that he should not have a license illegally, so it should be revoked.
And what is the outcome of that investigation that you conducted?
The investigation
that you conducted to know how Amadou got the license?
The CID, we went there and we together. That was a fact-finding mission, and this is the time they were saying we don't know who gave him. But the guy who gave him, as I said here previously, was not, this is all illegality, was not the guy, as I was told, who was supposed to give Amadou. Because the guy who was supposed to give Amadou a license, it is somewhere around Amadou's end. But I think Amadou got it from somebody who is at the other end. So that.
Commissioner Darboe.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, the victim provide an evidence that they do bribe Amadou so that they can recover their cattle. As a police officer, when they fall under that category, do you ask them to come? Because I think if 5 people testify against what should be your stand? Should you allow Amadou to work scot-free like that? Because I think 5 people cannot come out and say that I gave Amadou a money to recall my cattle. If the police are there to ask to save those people. Did you open any 10 people? Did you open any criminal investigation against Amadou? Because all those 10 people cannot lie against him.
I opened an investigation, and as I said before you came, a report was done on that one. It was a substantive report on cattle rustling, and I said to the honorable panel here that I have a copy. Let them allow me to provide the copy for you, and you can go through. Then you will see the recommendations of what the panel that sat and then went through that one, and all what was said. Then from that point you will be able to understand. I'll surely give you a copy because I have.
The same level was also set to have been copied by your office. Let's take a look at it. And then I'll come back to you on the Jawara and on the
Yes.
Yeah, I also want to
my
ask
last
a question.
question.
I'm tempted to ask questions. I want my.
Yeah, I don't see your hands exactly.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
No, because I mean it is flowing actually.
Oh, all right.
The information is flowing.
Yes, I'll put this side and then we move to you, please. Just be patient. Yeah.
Let me just allow others to come so that I can go.
Oh, you have some more?
Yes.
Let me it's just really that there.
Honorable sir, what do you want me to say with this one?
Now we said the letter was also set up with copied according to information here. That means CC Police Commissioner. Do you have any knowledge of this? Your office.
I think this letter was dispatched in February.
When you fled?
February
No.
2020.
or 2019,
No,
2018.
this is 2020 February.
That time you were there.
I think I was there in February.
You were there.
I was there. I was there.
If I recall.
Yeah, I was there in this time, yeah. And I can remember Ablai Jallo, Bohum Kunda, I can remember this.
And what happened? What happened to that? And what happened to that when you got the letter?
This when I got this letter, this was all in the span of investigation. That report that was given, and they were all these people. Most of them were confronted together with Amadou, and the investigation covers it. As I said, don't forget the fact that when they made this complaint, the fact that it was not even during my time, it was times well before me, but I sent the investigation retrospective that it should go up to a 5 year or so behind, and that is what they have done. All these things were in that investigation report. So I will provide, I'll provide that one with you, and then you will see.
How soon, Commissioner, sir?
This is
today.
Honorable sir. I said Monday. I
just want to cross.
Yes, on Monday I will give you a substantial report about this one. Yeah, as such, it's in my house. As such.
Thank you very much, Mr. Darboe. Just to remind you that this committee has met with Amadou Bello, and we have our own impression. Not drawing conclusions, but we have our own impression. This is the man who told us categorically that he doesn't respect the law, and that he's not threatened by law, and that he has to survive. Now, if somebody like that can have the audacity to tell members of the National Assembly on the investigation, or conducting an investigation, you can imagine the However, this is a community that is, held at ransom by actors, alleged actors, or actors now of crime of unproportionate, magnitude on their livelihoods, their cattle, their sheep, their goods, whatever. And they are seeing that sometimes you don't have to be a police officer to understand that crime pays. Some of the biggest or the richest people in the world now are perceived criminals. They build mansions. They build structures that ordinary people not toiling, farming, working hard for a living can't afford. Because means of making money is easier on their part. This is a community who have had their doubts about law enforcement. Because amid the many complaints that they lodged, there was no police, there was zero police action. The rate of progress of arrests and prosecutions was non-existent. And seeing the police or law enforcers, blatantly being friends, socializing with alleged perpetrators. I mean, I'm not surprised that the chief called you personally and threatened to take the law into his own hands. Like you said, you serve everybody, regardless of their citizenship, and regardless of their social class. But this community, is affected, and you were the head of the police. So my question is, Mr. Darboe, can you relate to this concern? And if so, would you say in hindsight, you would have done things differently to avoid even the need for them to come to this focus body to resolve this matter?
No, sir.
No?
No. Because whatever I do, I said before, whatever I do, it must be justified and it must be based on the law. So I am not going to say that in hindsight. No, I think I did all I should do. But I want to ask you, did you ask yourself, is Amadou any different from any other person that the police have been taken to court on crime? Yes or no? No, we
sorry, thank you. I'll answer it. Thank you for the question, but I'm not in the receiving end of questions.
Okay, fine. I'll give you an analogy.
Just allow me.
Okay.
Yeah? The society that we serve gauge our effectiveness now on the end results. If I was a police officer, or if my conduct in office is gauged as how effective I am as a National Assembly member, not as a police officer. However, the police are the law enforcers. If the problems that is faced by a community is perpetuated, and there's no light at the end of the tunnel, how effective is that service in the area? That's the question.
Relatively, you can also ask why is the case like this when I was not in office, and about 2 or 3 commissioners served when I was not in office. It was like this, and I came, I looked at it, I did something about it, and after, even when I left, somebody came, and still there were the same complaints going on. You can also think about it and say what actually is kind of making it like this. Because whatever we do as police officers, we have to be backed by the law, and we have to be able to substantiate something and to get the evidences readily available so we can defend the person in court.
Thank you very much.
You understand?
Just hit the nail on the
Yeah,
head.
yeah, yeah.
That is our point of concern.
Okay.
We are not investigating 10 years ago. We're investigating the last 2 years.
Okay.
And you start within that window.
Yeah.
That's why you are here today.
Yeah.
Okay? So I'm not going to ask the irrelevant questions
Okay.
of why is it the case before you came into office. My question is what did you do or not do at the time when you were in office? That's the point. That's the point of the case here. So my question is simple. In hindsight, would we have done something differently? Knowing what you know today, we have done acted differently. Is the question. And that's not the other people before you or after you. They have their own cases.
To be honest, you did not educate me to anything new that I didn't know before. So that's why I say no.
Of course I did.
What did you educate me to?
I informed you.
Something that I didn't know before.
Sorry.
Because when something is a crime is reported, I do everything as a commissioner.
These are parliamentary language. Just be patient because excellent.
Honorable Chair,
She wants to
sorry for
flag something.
interrupting.
Yes, yes.
I just want to observe. I'm not comfortable with the way question and the response are going. I think you need to brief the commissioner about the committee. I don't know whether that has been done, so that we can just get the information and proceed and allow the other witness to come in.
Okay. Commissioner, just to remind you, we have our questions. If you have any difficulty, any questions, I'm sorry, I have no knowledge of this, or just give us the response. We are not witch hunting. So I should have reminded you that our function as a committee is to establish the fact, write a report, of course, that includes our opinion and recommendation to the plenary for adoption. Full stop. So we are not here to find your faults or something like that, because your responsibility as a citizen is to carry out responsibility to better a Gambia. We have the same thing. So we both have a job. The ultimate objective is to better the Gambia. That's all. So just give us answers to what anything we ask that you have any knowledge, or that you don't have as the other document that you promised to give them to us on Monday. Let's just proceed. But we are not here to find about your faults or which hunt.
I'm not finished my line.
Well, maybe I'll give you 2 more questions and I move to him, and I think it's been. Sorry, just a bit.
It's fine.
But if you want us to break for you for 1 or 2 things, we can break for 5 minutes.
No, thank you, sir. No, sir, I don't want to waste your honorable time. I want to give you answers and go. Somebody else can come.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Honorable Jawara, for reminding Mr. Darboe and myself about what we are conducting here. Mr. Darboe, you said this committee have not given any information that you didn't know before. However, I recall you finding it difficult to remember some dates, some incidences. You did give us new information that we didn't ask for. But my point is this. The problem of animal theft in Woodley has reached a limit that is beyond any that has come for our attention. That has come to our attention. You served in the capacity of the police commissioner in URR for not continuously, but for 2 years, under which many incidences like this happened. You have given us some of the interactions you have with the community leaders, and other stakeholders. Now, you cannot recall of any success that you have registered in resolving that problem during your time. You cannot give us any cases that you have prosecuted successfully and made sure that that crime does not exist anymore. So this is why I'm asking you this question. That in hindsight, and you said no initially, but I'm just asking again. In hindsight, people are not perfect. People can always make mistakes. People can always look at the same case that they think they've done very well and look at it again and say, oh, I could have done better here or could do better there. So you feel that you've done the best to your ability, and there's nothing that there was room for improvement as far as the success of your service is concerned in the area.
Yes, that's what I feel. with regards to whatever crime is being reported against Amadou and any other individual in Basse, you know, I have did what I thought it was my duty to do, and it's not because of Amadou alone. I have prosecuted a lot of people in Basse, you know, and so I don't see Amadou as an exception, you know, not to prosecute him or anything like that, you know, because I did prosecute a lot of other people that are very different from Amadou.
Mm-hmm.
So if it comes to Amadou and the evidences are available, I put him in the court because I really remember and I know fully well I'm a Gambian like Amadou. But fine, even my father or any other thing, if it goes against the law, Amadou will tell you, I don't respect the law. That is his version, because I understand also Amadou was one time in prison. I found out that one, you know. He will tell you, I don't respect the law, but I don't tell anybody I don't respect the law. I will never say that. So even my father, if he has gone against the law, I'll say, hold it that you have gone against the law. That's what the law says, but we'll see what we can do. Period. That's what so I will take him to court if need be. Yeah? There's no problem with that.
Finally,
because this is my duty to do.
Finally, and I'll finish with the question. We have been informed, you know, by Mr. Colley in Basse, and you also mentioned in here today, in our conversation, that you had encounters with the commissioner and
with the governor.
With the governor.
Yes.
And is it he or she?
She. Yeah.
Wanted you to do certain things.
Yes.
Against Amadou, which you didn't feel that they have a legal right to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, you left Basse.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any connotation to these two issues?
Is there any
connotation or relations?
There is no relations, as far as I'm concerned. Why I left Basse, it's not because of the governor. She wrote against me. She cannot work with me. That because of this or that and that, and it was substantiated that there is no relation.
Yeah, there's a relation.
No. What she said, then there is no relation with this one because I was called and